Welcome to Masterpiece Theatre. I'm your host, Derek William Dalton. Today, solo RPG playthrough time. Let's play. I'm gonna skip this part. I know how to play because I wrote it. Chapter 1, A Hillspire Favor. Lungs burning, Mary Oliva splashed into the shallow stream. 3 strides, 4, then up the other bank behind a tree. Pulling on a root to speed her exit, she winced at the rib pain, but didn't slow. Keeping the tree between her and the imp who'd bruised her with a club, she sprinted harder. Dodging a noisy pile of leaves, she slipped through quieter ferns, held her breath, and listened for pursuit. Their language consisted of crudely formed phrases and cruel synonyms. Their grins of pointed teeth were wicked. Large ears gave them a bat-like appearance and aided in eavesdropping, plotting, and backstabbing. Miri didn't know if their pallor arose from lurking in the dark and under trees, but the cadaverous complexion of the imps filled her with revulsion. She'd stuffed the battered satchel at her hip with enough pine needles to keep the pile of coins inside from clinking, in spite of her flight, but it still banged against her leg, slowing her. She tried to shift it without dropping her spear, but it didn't help. A whistling arrow sped past, but not from behind her. A second imp archer pursued from her left, intent on reclaiming what Miri had pilfered, were still out of sight. Shield held a little higher to protect her head. Miri felt her strides shorten. A second arrow skipped through the brush in front of her. She risked a glance, but saw no archer. Legs aching, she weighed her choices. She could turn and charge the archer, risking the other 2 imps overtaking her. She could drop her nearly ruined shield, clutch the satchel tightly, and exhaust herself in a final flight to the cliffs. If Miri raises her shield and rushes the archer, go to Section 29. If her shield can best serve her as jetsam to molder in the forest while she runs unhindered, go to Section 153. Let's do 29. Miri's boots gouged the forest floor as she charged in the direction of the last assault. Her jade eyes just breaking the rim of her shield, she kept the next arrow from striking her throat. Resisting the urge to glance at the quivering shaft, she saw a flash of sickly pale flesh, partly veiled with fawn hide. Rounding a tree, Miri saw the imp archer fleeing, glancing back more frequently as she closed. The imp turned suddenly, judging well Miri's distance. It sent 2 feathered shafts hurtling at her before she crashed into the imp with her shield. The imp attacks twice before combat begins, its attack versus Miri's evade. There we go. Miri's battle trait, so we're going to be using attack, evade, defense, damage, and hopefully not health. So let's roll for the 2 attacks for the imp. Its attack skill is 5. So that's a miss because it's higher than the skill, and so is that one. And now it's Miri's turn. So she rolls a 20, which is the worst possible thing that can happen. Not off to a good start, Miri. And the imp also misses. Attacking again, Miri rolls an 8. Her attack skill with her spear is 6, so she misses. But the imp archer does not. In fact, because the roll and the skill match, that's a mastery. So instead of doing 1 die roll of damage, it does 2. So there's 6 and 14, so that's 20 damage. Miri's defense is 13. That armor and her ability to absorb damage. So the 20 minus the 13 gives 7. Alright, next attacks. 16 for Miri, 3 for the archer, this time only 1 die 20 of damage, which is 5. It's less than the 13 for her defense, so her armor takes it and she's fine. Miri again. Oh, terrible. Imp misses. And there's a hit for Miri. So her damage is her strength bonus and the spear. So the die roll of 3 plus 7 is 10. The imp has no armor, and its health is 10. So now she defeats it. So that lasted more than 3 rounds. So we'll go to section 131. Hoping to be mistaken about the new sounds reaching her ears, Miri paused to listen closely. Now unmistakable were the hissing breaths of two-fanged mouths and rapid padding of four-clawed feet. One set went silent, and she realized the imp archer had stopped to nock an arrow. Miri stepped behind a tree, and the first arrow whistled past. She sprinted for the archer as it fumbled for another arrow. Intent on finishing its assault, the imp with the club raced to meet her, aiming another strike at her bruised ribs. Here we go. Miri's attack on the imp archer is an 8. She misses. Imp archer, oh no, double damage. 6 and 11. That's 17. Minus her 13. So now she has a wound of 4. So she's down to 5 health. This is not a strong start. And the imp brawler now gets to attack, and it misses. Miri's gonna attack the archer again. This time she gets it. It is gone. No armor, so 12 points of damage to its health. And it's not gonna be a problem anymore. The imp brawler misses. Miri misses her attack. The imp brawler misses her attack. Back and forth they go, and Miri hits with 1, and imp brawler misses. So Miri's damage is gonna be 17, and that is it. Game over. Miri's health does not drop below 1/4, and now she can use her first aid skill on each new wound if necessary. A success reduces the wound by half, mastery by 3/4, and we'll go to section 61. So what is her first aid skill? Right here under knowledge, so it's 4. So she can roll once for each wound. For the wound is 7. Oh, not any better. And the other wound, nope. Well, she tried. Section 161. The Longhouse founded the heart of Hillspire Village. It spouted wood smoke into the morning fog. Lady Amara, the village leader, parted the pale wooden planks of the Longhouse doors, smiling as she saw Miri approaching. "The satchel is safe," Amara said, gripping Miri's shoulder firmly. "Though they are but coins, they represent our sacrifice." Her skin bore the faint greenish hue common in Hillspire. Her fingers did not number to 10, but her grip remained sure. Miri flexed her toes in tattered boots and stood her full above-average height in spite of the chill of damp clothing. She'd have liked a hot bath, her dark brown hair washed and freshly braided. She felt certain her freckles had faded behind the dirt on her face. Still, she smiled in spite of her injuries and the poor recompense she'd received today. "At your service, Lady Amara." Amara studied Miri's face. "I know well you linger on the margins of destitution. Those of your profession claim greater wage than what we can offer you. We hold you in high regard for it." Miri did her best to represent a diplomatic smile, and none of her disappointment showed. "Your courtesy would benefit the Temujin nobles of Rivermeet, lady. You do me honor. I see how it is you have dwelt in peace for so long with a standing guard of so few. Kind speech and an hospitable table triumph over the spear." Amara smiled and turned, leading Miri to the doors of the Longhouse. She paused before opening them. "I trust you'll take pains these state secrets remain as such," she jested. "Break your fast with us until you're content. You'll find coins as we agreed in your lodging, and a gift from me besides. A shield arm such as yours deserves better than that brought with you." Miri's actions have changed civilization traits and alliances. Gaia foreshadowing +1, monstrous benevolence -1, Lady Amara +2, Hillspire Village +2, Imp Mob -3. At the lean-to, Miri finds the promised 12 coins, enough for a month of good food. She also finds a week of trail rations and a sturdy but light round shield, stained a green hue and carved with runes, defense +3, evade -1. If Miri's health remained above 1/4 during her battles, go to section 124. Otherwise, go to section 3. So first, I'll make a note of all this on the sheet. So Gaia foreshadowing is at 1. We'll write that here. Monstrous benevolence is -1. Lady Amara +2. The Hillspire Village is +2. And the Imp Mob -3. They do not like her. Where those will come into play later in the book is if there are interactions with those groups, and these can become modifiers to die rolls, and so can all of these. And now the fun part. New shield. So defense +3, evade -1. So that is not as good of a defense as her other shield that's about to break, but it is less unwieldy. So we'll put +3 here, -1 here. So that means her defense is going to go down once. Rather than being 11, it's now going to be 10. But her evade is going to go up by 2. So instead of 7, it's going to be 9. Mary's health went down to 5, so that's above 1/4. So we'll go to section 124. Mary broke crumbles from her honey bread and chewed them slowly, smiling. As she ate, villagers passed by to thank her for returning the coins. Go to section 3. To spare Mary a half day of travel skirting the cliffs, 2 hill spirelings guided her to the shortcut from their heights. After a treacherous 100 measures of careful descent by rope, she bid her guides farewell. And the stone rampart surrounding the hill spire village fell behind her and out of sight to the north. As the gentle rolling plains passed, only the pad of her feet and the occasional far-off herd of grazers reached her ears and eyes. The breeze and occasional clouds muffled the heat of the morning sun. For an hour, a large eagle circled above her, as if to ensure she passed through without disrupting the peace. The path Mary trod stretched away flat and straight, but bore signs of little use. Near midday, she could smell wild flowers in the cool, damp soil of the shoreline. Soon she saw Lake Greenbrook in the distance. Her boots crunched at the pebbled shore of Lake Greenbrook, and she watched the wind stir the surface into ripples which lapped more softly on the stones than did her boots. She could circle the lake to the southwest and be on the south side in a few hours. She suspected it less likely to find work in the village of Greenbrook, but would get a dry bed before she continued to the city of Rivermeet. A day farther southeast at the confluence of the Greenbrook and the wide, slow River Serene, farms encircled Rivermeet, and Tamagenti artisans filled it. Plentiful goods created a need for someone to deliver them. Mary looked east. Her shadow stretched before her as though wanting her to travel the north end of the lake instead. Traveling to the town of Southeve made for a longer journey than to Rivermeet. There would be a winding river to skirt, following the Greenbrook to its confluence with the Grove water at the southern edge of the dim Grove forest. From there, another day would take her to Southeve. Mary would find no work associated with fish, but plenty in the forest. Either way, she preferred walking to introspection, so she chose a direction and set out. If Mary goes southwest toward Greenbrook Village, then on to Rivermeet, go to section 21. If journeying east near the dim Grove forest, then on to the Southeve is the best option, go to section 143. Let's check the map. So Mary is here. She came south from Hillspire, and she's deciding whether to cross the brook and go here to Greenbrook Village, and then on to Rivermeet here, or to skirt to the north, either around the Greenbrook to Southeve in the dim Grove forest. What kind of a cliffhanger was that? Sorry, you're gonna have to find out on your own. Does she find what she's looking for in a job that's spear-free? Does that shield work out like she's hoped? Does she get her wounds healed? And most importantly and immediately, does she go to Southeve or does she go to a village of Greenbrook? You make the call. Enjoy your copy of Throne of the Bandit Lord. Sequels in the works.